Good morning, everyone. So it is about 7:30 a.m. right now. Sunrise is in about 20 minutes, so I really need to get going to where I'm going. But I just arrived at my location where I want to be shooting, and this video this week is all about what I think professional photographers do and most beginners don't. Definitely not when they first start. And I actually should limit this to landscape photography because it really is about landscape photography. But there is something that, and I did this especially, but I'm here to tell you, like, point out the difference why. I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong. I'm here to show you why we think that way. And I think it's really important we start talking in that way. So anyways, I got a little bit of a walk to do before I get up to where I will be shooting. So I'll see you guys there. For me, it's not about which one is a better lens, like which focal lengths are a better lens. It's honestly which one is best to use in the situation that you're given. So I think it's important to understand where each lens really shines best, and having them available. Like, obviously, if you can't always have these lenses available to you at the same time, then you work with what you have. But I think it is probably one of the most ideal kits to have a wide angle zoom lens, but also a telephoto zoom lens. Like, you honestly can't go wrong. You cover all bases when you're out, and you will notice as you go along in your journey, like, you start to gravitate towards one based on the situation at hand. I know for most landscape photographers, when we start, we gravitate right to that wide angle lens, and rightly so. There's so many things with it that I think, you can just do such cool things. There's massive mountains in the world that we need that lens to fit all those things in. Like, it's really, really good for distorting things, exaggerating foregrounds, really drawing the viewer in, especially vertically. Oh my gosh, it's a magic lens when you shoot vertical with it. And then there's places where the telephoto works really well. Like, maybe a scene that is just too vast, too big, where if you use a wide angle lens, it actually ends up looking a lot smaller than what it looks like to the eye, and that's where the telephoto zoom lens comes in handy. Always see lots of videos where they say, throw away your wide angle lens, or it's wrong to use your wide angle lens. I just don't understand that logic. It's just, no, let's teach how, what lens will come in handy in each situation. So I'm already set up. I have my telephoto on. Let me show you the difference. Like, I'm in this exact same scene. Let me show you the difference of a telephoto and then when I put on my wide angle lens. Well, this is the overall scene that I am photographing. It's such a beautiful location. I cannot get enough of this spot. As you can see, we're right at sunrise. The sun is about to come over the clouds there. It is really going to paint this landscape scene with beautiful colors. But to show you what I am talking about, so this is with I have my 70 to 200 on right now, and I am shooting at 70. When the light does spill over eventually, it's definitely going to paint up those trees right in there. It's going to look really, really beautiful. But I find that this spot, even though it's beautiful in its vastness, the telephoto lens is definitely the best choice here. And where I'm shooting from, I could go a little bit more over on this side, and then I would have a different sort of view with this composition. But I do like this spot because I want the trees to be kind of the star of the midground there. The light is starting to spill over more. We can see we're getting some beautiful glow on those trees over there. So I've actually zoomed in. There we go, we're in focus. I've actually zoomed in now because I really want to focus. I'm still on my 70 to 200, but I really want to focus on that pop of color on those trees. And I just love how this scene with this lens is turning into the layers are the focus. Another just amazing feat that this lens can do is create layers upon layers in scenes. I will not lie, when I'm out shooting and like it gets really, really good. So if I'm shooting and I'm filming and the light starts to get just incredible, I made sure, because I wanted to focus just on YouTube today, that I left my yellow dress at home so that I wouldn't be tempted to go get distracted and go off and do that. But that's the struggle when I'm out filming and shooting. Because I'm a person who gets really, really excited when the conditions are just like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And that's happening right now. But we're managing to get some gorgeous shots right now of all the beautiful color trees with this light. You can see it painting on my face. This makes me happy. It makes me so excited when it's like this and it's warm and it's beautiful and geez Louise, autumn is just such a glorious time of the year. Okay, so now I have my wide angle lens on. This is the 16 to 35. This is, oh gosh, you guys know I use this lens all the time. I love this lens, but it has its place. And clearly, I mean, just set up in this same composition, like I did not move my tripod or anything. I still had my 70 to 200 set up like this. But as you can see, it is such a big difference. Like it basically, with this lens, I do have it at the widest that it can be right now. There's just way too much going on. The sky looks like there's far too much sky, too much grassy foreground, that you really cannot see the star of the show, which is those trees. In my opinion, it is those trees right over there. So it just doesn't work, especially at this focal length, but I haven't checked out what 35 looks like yet. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom into 35 and see if that is a bit better. Even still at 35, it's not as good. Like I definitely wouldn't, I would not use this lens here. I just don't feel that it's a match unless you wanted to work things like the foreground. You know, when you're using a wide angle lens, it's really, really good to exaggerate the foreground of things. But even this foreground might be a little bit too messy to kind of compose something. But that is where I would use it. If I was going to, I would be down a lot lower, trying to really work that foreground. So let's take a shot with it on as the 16 to 35. I'm gonna go back to 16 and we'll take a shot and we will see what that gives us. So this is another scene where I think the telephoto comes in handy versus the 16 to 35. And honestly, it depends like how close to the, like I'm shooting this group of trees that's over there. So it really all depends like how close you are to those trees. You could make a shot work with a wide angle lens if you get closer to it. But I'll show you what I mean with the 70 to 200 and how you can take this little grouping of trees here and transform it into something that just screams fall. And also this time I decided to flip my camera vertically. So we're shooting portrait orientation for this because I'm trying to isolate that one tree. There's a little bit too much of harsh light right now, but even more of a reason why I think the 70 to 200 is a better choice in this case. Normally I would actually underexpose this. I just leaving it like equal exposure so that you guys can see it on the back of the camera, but it does look a little bit, I came here the other day and photographed, it does look a little bit better underexposed because the light is so harsh. But let's have a look at what that looks like through the 70 to 200. Here we go. Same, I haven't moved. I have not moved the tripod. Tripod has stayed exactly where it is. Same spot, shooting those group of trees. Here is the wide angle lens 16 to 35 at 16. It's just not, obviously it's just not giving us the same effect or not helping me achieve my results of isolating those trees. So for this, it is not a good choice. However, again, as I was saying before, you could use the wide angle lens to get down into the foreground and maybe really work this grass, but you just won't see those beautifully colored trees in the background. And if you do, they'll just be very far away. It is getting really, really bright. This is why I don't film like my face in these situations. It's just way too bright. But this is something that when I first started photography, I was constantly doing. Honestly, I was like such, oh my gosh, even just looking back, I was such a 70-200 snob. Like that's the lens, the telephoto lens that I use. But I was always like, it doesn't work for landscape photography. Oh my gosh, like what an idiot. Oh, it totally does. So I really, really think it's about like, they're both beautiful lenses and they both have their place. I think I mainly showed you the power of the 70-200 in this video, but this 16-35 or a wide lens that is similar to it, oh my gosh, nothing beats that for like, you know, really exaggerating those foregrounds and just creating these crazy epic landscape scenes. We all know what the 16-35 is good at, so there definitely has its places. I think it's just more about knowing when to use them. There is no right and wrong in this situation. It is just knowing their strengths, and cannot recommend enough. Like if you are starting photography now or you're deep in your journey, you don't have one, definitely have that on the list as the next lens that you get, a 70-200 or equivalent. Where I am shooting, like this grouping of trees, is honestly a playground. It's really, really tricky. We all know forests and stuff like that is very tricky to photograph, but it's so gorgeous. And I find that it just makes my mind shut off. So I'm very focused on creating something, making something work here, because it is quite messy. But oh my gosh, it's heaven in here. I love this. I love finding little places like this when you actually don't expect it, because I didn't know that this was here. So anyways, please subscribe if you guys like this channel. It really, really helps me out, and I hope that I am giving you some solid knowledge to help yourself grow through your own photography journey. And yeah, as always, I'm going to share some images at the end of the video like I always do, and I will talk to you guys in the